figures.
Okay. I liked it for reasons that I can't describe. I feel like...
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Well, I feel like what happens is that when Hollywood feels overly white, they trot out the civil rights era black movies, like Selma, The Help. Like they focused slightly more on being a woman in STEM than necessarily being a black woman in STEM. Although there's definitely moments in there, you know, running 2 miles to go to the bathroom is definitely a huge issue. Yeah. But when it came to like things like Catherine being brought into the meetings and everything, it was more about her being a woman and not necessarily about her color.
Right, going into male spaces.
Yeah. And I think that like it may be a baby step forward for Hollywood, you know? It's
baby
like
steps.
I would love to see more just average movies with diverse casts, you know? I would love to see just like the usual rom-com with you know.
Right. Not Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore, but other
actors. Exactly.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore Octavia Spencer.
Yeah.
She's my favorite.
When I was watching it, I was like, isn't she known for being kind of comedic? Because she was in that Dinner for Schmucks as like that.
Oh, I forgot she was in that movie.
And that was the first place my mind went to, was like, oh, this is such a very different role to be playing from like my recollection of her on screen. Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen more of her dramatic stuff rather than her comedic stuff, but she still has that sassiness and sarcasm that I think is probably prevalent in who she is.
Yeah,
which
maybe
makes
it's just her character.
I hope so, because that's kind of what I love about her. So
Janelle Monáe's character, whose name escapes me, we're terrible not remembering, but I like that her and her husband kind of had like a power dynamic struggle. Yeah. And that ultimately it was like, okay, we are a team, so I'm going to support you in anything that you do. And I think that's really important to see on screen, and instead of like, oh, well, if you don't do things my way, then I'm out of here.
Right.
Which I think we see a lot, or we see a lot of couples who are like super passionate, but there's no like there's no reality in how they're going to last together.
And that's typical of female movies in general. It's like there's this thing that women have to live up to where it's either career or family. You can't have both, and that is a really nice thing to have. Even though it's such a small part of the film, they still show the struggle between the two of them, but that is, like you said, a great representation of just the support system that you can have.
Yeah, that you can, and same with Catherine, who she is a single mom, right? But she's raising her kids, long hours, and the kids make a note to point it out to her.
Yeah.
Because they say, what, you've been gone for 238 straight hours or something.
Yeah.
And I think that was also nice to see, is that like she is balancing all these things. It's not easy. But it doesn't mean like your family's in disarray or that anything terrible is going to happen because your mom's working long hours.
Right. And I think that's important to see, not just in film, but for young girls to see, because all the media ever portrays is that, you know, you have to have one or the other.
And I also think too of like so many movies we see that are geared towards kids, which I feel like this kind of is. It's like it's a family movie, right? And so many of those too are just like girls get lucky with opportunities, but so rarely does it show that like you need to bust your ass to make your dreams happen. And I think that's what Hidden Figures does so well, is like these are three strong women who know that, okay, if I need to survive or thrive in a technology ever-changing world, I'm gonna have to keep learning. And so Octavia's character, Dorothy, does that really well.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I need to be able to fix the machines if the machines are gonna take my job.
Right. I want to know how to want to know how to talk to them. Mm-hmm. I want to make myself useful, and that's what she says in a line of dialogue. Is to make yourself useful, make yourself indispensable. And you know, my mom was a single mother, and that's what she instilled in me, and I love that that's being shown. The thing that I liked the most about this one is that this is a movie that takes place in an era where racism was prevalent, and it's shown in the film, but it's not the focus. And
yeah, it's not the driving force. Exactly.
It's there, and it's a part of the movie. It's a part of what happened to them, but it's moving away from that.
Yeah, we're focused
Hollywood
on these women
thing. Yeah,
and
exactly.
their stories.
Yeah, and how they made it in a male-dominated profession.
And if nothing else, money talks, and they'll see like, oh, this film made. Did it make millions or just like hundreds of millions?
I don't remember what the
how much money. No.
Yeah. But it was more than they expected for a non-rom-com female-driven movie. So
I think if nothing else, it shows like we want more movies that have heart and soul and actual storylines that aren't the same over and over.
Really good actors portraying really complex characters. So
yeah, all of them. Even like Mahershala Ali's character, which is he's very secondary, but he's like he brings to it some. I think it's nice to see male emotion.
Yeah.
And feelings, and maybe that's part of why I thought his addition was so sweet.
And it was sweet and subtle and slow building. They didn't start it off right away with the romance and
like it slowly grew, and they got to actually get to know each other, even though like much of that isn't seen, we still understand.
And the whole step parent thing is involved, where he includes the children in the
he doesn't
proposal.
find them a nuisance.
Right.
They're in on it.
Right.
And I think that's really sweet. I rarely like romance in movies because I feel like it's just given to me and there's no real forethought or afterthought or
it's not
thought period. Yeah. So I was really pleasantly surprised in this movie with all the relationships that I was like, oh, I not only believe these stories, but like they actually make me feel good. Yeah.
I love the movie. I think all of the actresses are fantastic, and the storyline's really good, and
cinematography is great. They're repeating. They had like that close-up scene where they're handing the chalk over, and then Kirsten Dunst hands Octavia's character like that paper envelope, and I like that. 2 thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
4 thumbs up.